Well, the storm finally let up, thank God. But getting light. Everything's closed, and I'm kind of bored. But a few people hit me up asking how I make the candied popcorn. So I'm gonna do a quick tutorial. It's actually pretty easy. Okay, the recipe is actually pretty simple. It's pretty identical to a caramel recipe, except you use white sugar instead of brown sugar, and that's just so the color will pop more. But it's just Cairo or corn syrup, sugar, baking soda, butter, water, food coloring, and your flavoring. So this would be, the recipe I'm doing is for 12 quarts of popcorn or 2 cups of uncooked kernels. So 12 quarts popped. And I always use butter extract in all of them just because I like it. It tastes very buttery without adding too much butter. But for this one, it's going to be cake batter, but you can use any flavor. And if you have a flavor line but you can't find the extract, you can use other stuff. For example, if you want like blue raspberry, I'm sure they have a blue raspberry flavor, but I'm just going to use this Jello blue raspberry. And I have a friend who loves pistachio, so I found this pistachio pudding that I would substitute for the flavoring. I mean, I would still add the butter flavoring. So the recipe is very simple. It is 4 cups of sugar. It's 1 cup of Cairo or corn syrup, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, but you add the baking soda at the very end, 1 stick of butter, which I believe is 8 tablespoons. I don't know the measurement. I just put like a cap full of butter flavoring and a cap full of whatever real flavoring. If I'm using the Jello, I would use half a box. And the food coloring will be dependent on what color you want it. So, like I said, 4 cups of sugar, 1 cup of corn syrup, 1 stick of butter, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 cup of water. So I'm going to go ahead and mix it together. Okay, so first we start off by popping 12 quarts of popcorn. So that's actually 2 cups of unpopped kernels. So 2 cups of kernels gives you about 12 quarts of popcorn. Okay, so I have my 12 quarts of popcorn. In a pan, I have everything in, and I'm going to stir it on medium heat with a wood or plastic spoon until it comes to a boil. This is actually medium-high heat. So you're going to stir it until it starts to boil. Once it boils, you have to stop stirring it because it will crystallize or something. And it needs to heat to approximately 300 degrees. I don't have a thermometer. I just can kind of tell when it's at 300. So if you let it boil, or you can get a thermometer, let it boil for about 5 minutes on medium-high heat, and you should be okay. So you're just going to stir it until it comes to a boil. Okay, so this is what they call a rolling boil. Once it gets to this stage, you don't stir it anymore, and you just let it sit for 5 minutes. I probably use the smallest pot possible for this. I probably should have used a slightly larger pot, but I think I'm fine. So while I'm waiting for that to boil, I'll just get 2 cookie sheets and line them with wax paper. Okay, so I let it boil for 5 minutes. I actually poured half of it off because I'm going to do 2 different flavors. So it's been sitting for about a minute. What I'm going to do now is put my food coloring in. I'm doing blue raspberry. Gonna put a capful, I'm eyeballing it, of butter. That's a little bit of a capful. And I need to get my teaspoon of baking soda. So once you put the baking soda in, it's gonna expand a little. So you're gonna stir it. So I haven't put my pudding in yet. I can't do it with the phone, so I'm going to stir in half a box of blue raspberry Jello. Okay, I thought a half would be too much. I forgot I cut my mixture in half. So I actually put in 1/4 of a box because this is half of that original mixture. So I put in 1/4 of a box of blue raspberry Jello mix. So I'm going to stir it. I don't know if you can see, but it got real like frothy. This is pretty much the last step. You just take your mixture and you pour it over your popcorn. Oops, I'm making a mess. And then you stir it in. And you make sure it gets covered. And then once I'm doing a little bit at a time because I'm using a small bowl. But after you mix it in, you just put it on a baking sheet and let it dry for like an hour, and then you're pretty much done. Put a little more here. On a baking sheet. And the last step, salt brings out sugar, so you put one little sprinkle of salt. And then this is my cake batter, and this is my blueberry Jolly Rancher flavor. And so in like an hour, they'll both be hard. You can